How you doing, guys? Welcome to the second edition of the all-new Rubin Report. I have two of my favorite people making their all-new Rubin Report debuts, Jaclyn Glenn and Whitney MIxter. You guys have been on the show probably as much as anyone else, so it was important to get you guys in here quick.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
very exciting.
What do you think of our new digs?
I love it.
Yeah,
Very
I feel
cool.
like I'm in my smoking den, like I'm about to go on an adventure of some sort.
Yeah, it's not too masculine for you?
I mean, I don't know if it's masculine enough.
And Jaclyn, would you say too masculine for you, masculine just enough?
I mean, it's your show, man.
It's
Do
my
you?
show,
Yeah.
man. All right, well, it is my show, so let's get right to it. You guys have all heard the new McDonald's slogan, "I'm loving it with kale."
According to a recent note from Janney Capital Markets, the fast food giant will soon introduce kale as one of its ingredients. The note adds, possibilities include kale for use in salads or perhaps a kale smoothie, and more generally, McDonald's clearly aims to raise consumers' perceptions of the quality of its food.
All right, so I eat a ton of kale. I do a kale shake every morning, kale Caesar salads. I love the kale. Kale and McDonald's, something doesn't seem quite right.
What, because it's healthy?
Yeah, healthy McDonald's, what's going on here? They must be up to no good, right?
I mean, hey, if it's gonna get people to eat healthier, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But
No, this is like yet another health food that they can just taint into something unhealthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We took yogurt and we made it unhealthy. We took vegetables and apple slices and made them unhealthy.
Yeah.
And now we're going to take kale on head on.
Yeah, are they gonna fry kale? Like, that's where this is all going, right? Because don't people go, isn't the whole point of going to McDonald's not for health? Like, they're trying to trick us into thinking you're gonna walk out of there feeling better, but that's not the point of McDonald's, right?
I mean, it's food, so the point of it is to eat. You know, so if we could get people to do that in a healthier way, then I don't think that's such a bad thing. But
Yeah.
I don't think a little bit of kale on a Big Mac is gonna make a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, they're major, but they're pulling some major double standard here, because I don't know if you remember a little while back, they literally came out and had a juicy burger and made a statement, you can't get this kind of juice from soy or quinoa, and this isn't kale.
This isn't Greek
and then
yogurt.
they're like, wait, skirt, kale sells really well. This is actually a delicious quinoa burger drizzled in a nice fresh kale sauce. Like,
Yeah.
what the...
Just to clarify what you're saying, literally, that was like
That's
a month ago
literally-
they were mocking kale, and then the
Literally.
kale people must have got to them,
Right.
and now they're pro kale. So you want to give McDonald's credit. I can see what's going on here, right? You want they're
No, I'm not trying to give them credit. I'm just saying I'm sure it's a marketing play, of
yeah.
course. But at the same time, it's a good one. You know, it's something that's going to be good for people. And I mean, I know that they were very hypocritical, because I did see that commercial
Yeah.
where they were just like, kale, ew, this is obviously not kale because it's just big and fat and greasy.
Yeah.
Unhealthy food, yay. But now they're starting to put it in there, and I'm not going to really complain, because it's kind of like in my mind, somebody saying, I'm not going to ever donate to charity. Now I am. No, you can't, because you said you weren't going to. It's like, okay, I'm going to let that go.
So I know we're in LA here. I've had you guys on the show a million times. We do a lot about food and people eating healthier and trying to source food locally and all that stuff. But there is a place for McDonald's and this kind of stuff, right? Do you ever get that craving? Like, suddenly you're like, I've got to eat something
From
just
McDonald's?
greasy and hard. McDonald's or Burger King.
Yeah, and I've usually had several cocktails, and I have no other
So
option.
that's what for you, it's like the drunken.
Yeah, like if I'm drunk, late at night, which never happens, by the way. Sometimes I like that incredibly shiny bun. Like, I like to be able to see myself reflection in the fish fillet bun. Like, that's what I like. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever feel it coming out of you? That's what I eat it very rarely now, maybe like once every 3 months, McDonald's. And when I do it, I can actually feel it coming out of my skin.
I think the problem is I never feel it coming out of me. I think it's still in there somewhere.
Yeah. How often do you go the guilty route?
I don't. Well, I mean, it's hard for me because I'm a vegetarian. So a lot of
How
fast
did I
food
not know you
places-
were a vegetarian
I don't know.
after all this time?
I don't know. A lot of fast food places aren't an option.
Yeah. So what is it? Well, I guess you could go to like In-N-Out. They do you get like a bun with some lettuce.
I have done that.
The grilled
yeah,
cheese
it's not bad.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you can't. So you do nothing. I guess you couldn't do it, right?
Not really. I mean,
What about a shake?
Shakes are awesome.
You want a kale shake from McDonald's?
I don't know if I want a kale shake from McDonald's.
Like, do they?
I'd rather make my
I
own.
picture them actually blending it in with the ice cream and being like, kale.
Kale ice cream. There you go. All right. What do you guys think? Kale, McDonald's, is it a big marketing player? They actually make us healthier? Let us know in the comments right down below. All of my female heroes were Golden Girls until I came across this lady.
وعندك ايضا كارلوس
بس خليها تحديدا بهيدا الوقت
فنزويلا.
دكتور سباعي، بهيدا الوقت خلينا نحكي بهيدا الوقت كيف عم بتكون آلية استقطابهم؟ شو الشعارات اللي عم تنقلهم لينضموا؟
أنا لا، اسمعي أنت ستقاطعين وأنا أجيب كما أريد. أنا لا تجيبي كما أنت. مش أنا جاي هنا شاهد زور. أنا بأخدم الفكرة التي أريد.
ضيع وقت بجدال بلا طبع.
خلاص طب اسكتي حتى أستطيع أن أتكلم. أولا هذه أنا بأتكلم لكي يفهم
أول شيء كيف شيخ محترم مثلك بيقول اسكتي لمذيعة؟ معلش كيف بتقول اسكتي يعني؟
أنا محترم رد
خلص ما عاد
أنفك
بدي
طبعاً.
كفي هذا الموضوع. فينا نوقف الموضوع؟
أنا لا يشرفني إن أحضر.
فينا نوقف الموضوع لو سمحتوا شباب؟
لا أنت
لحظة يعني أو بده يكون في احترام متبادل أو بلي الموضوع كله.
All right, so just to set that up a little better for you, that is a Lebanese TV show, and obviously the host is stepping up not only for herself, but for all women and women's rights, which that part of the world not doing that well when it comes to women's rights. This is a beautiful thing, huh?
Yeah, that guy made me very angry.
Yeah. What do
it
you want
is
to?
beneath me to be talked to by a woman. It's like, excuse me?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that that's actually still going on. This is 2015. Right?
Yeah, and it's a professional setting. It's what she does for a living. You know, it's like a normal thing for guys to come on the show and be interviewed by her and what he thinks he's special or something. It's like,
Yeah.
what's the problem?
Shouldn't we give this girl major props? Like, this kind of went viral a little bit, but I feel like this is the type of thing with everything going on in the Middle East and women's rights just disastrous all over the place. Like, she's really putting her stuff on the line right there.
I mean, and I think that's half the problem why it hasn't gone incredibly viral, like to the next level, because I mean, there's still a risk factor for this woman's life, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Now, unfortunately. I mean, I'm kudos to her. I mean, I look up to her tremendously. That was very bold of her. I love how he literally is at a loss for words. He literally pauses like, wait, hold up. Did this just happen? And he literally said it like that. Hold up.
That was an incredibly good impression.
Yeah, and I'm shocked that does she like have a private like plug that she can pull? Because it seems like she's just like zinc.
Yeah.
It wasn't like production or anything like that. Like she actually pulls his audio herself. So
or she's got an audio guy that's just on a chick probably that's on her
Yes.
side. Why are we so okay with women's rights being so backwards in this part of the world? Like, I feel like if this happened in Europe or something, it wouldn't be okay. But over there, or even if it happened in America, this would never be okay to speak to a woman like that. But we just allow it. I don't know what we're supposed to do, as I say, with all these Middle East things. I'm not saying we should do anything, but like, what can we do to help women?
I'm not okay with it.
No, I'm not okay with it, but I don't know if that means what we can do.
No, yeah, I mean, I think this is good that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to do anything else. We don't really have a lot of control over what they're doing. I think a lot of people just see it as the norm.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
them, they're like, well, that's just how it is over there, and they blow it off. But I mean, that's totally not acceptable. So I think the only thing we can do is, you know, this video on YouTube is awesome. It's getting millions of views. That's awesome, you know, and then we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Shouldn't
that's
women's
all you can
rights
do.
groups though be like Code Pink or whatever the other women's right? I know Code Pink's always it's all about war with them, but like shouldn't they be like finding this woman and being like, this is going to be the face of our new campaign for women across the world?
Absolutely, but I think she's right. I think that, you know, it's thought to be such the norm in that culture that a lot of people in the United States and in Europe, I think, just think it's like something that is built into their religious constructs, so they don't want to mess with it, or they don't know enough to kind of challenge it, which is incorrect.
Yeah. Does stuff like this make you guys think like how good we actually have it here? Like, I know we're not quite there on gay rights yet. We're still not there with women's rights with a lot of things. But like when you see things like that, really realize like it's pretty good here, right?
I mean, it makes me think it's pretty good. At the same time, I don't want to think, oh, we've got it pretty good. I think that this should just be universally had.
Wow,
you
so
know?
you just want full equality.
I want full equality, and I want it
Jesus.
now.
I agree, and I feel like a lot of people will use these types of situations to be like, well, you shouldn't complain about anything you have in the United States because look how much worse it could be.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that it's important to like, you know, keep your good perspective on everything, and it's important to talk about other countries, but also, you know, it doesn't mean you need to lose sight of problems we still have here.
All right, so I did a segment with you a couple weeks ago at Roseanne's about whether you are a feminist or not. So I'll start with you on this one. Do you consider yourself a feminist?
I mean, in the literal sense, if you look in the dictionary and look up what feminism is, I would consider myself that. I would also consider myself more than a feminist and egalitarian. Like, I just want to be considered a human who wants equal rights and demands equal rights across the board. Yes.
That was pretty solid. Do you have anything?
I want to clap for that answer.
Yeah, do you have
that's pretty
anything
much
to add?
that's pretty much what we said in our video. You know, because like by the dictionary definition, of course, women's rights.
Right.
Why would you say anything differently?
Right.
But a lot of times, you know, modern feminism things have taken a weird turn and it's turned into this man-hating culture, which I don't want to identify with. So it's kind of
there's a lot of reasons
a
to
fine
hate men,
line
but
to tread.
feminism isn't one of them.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you think? Are you guys feminists? Should we take this woman and really be making her sort of the face of how we can change things in the Middle East and for women's rights all over the place? Let us know in the comments right down below. Porn, pyramids, preposterous? Probably.
The 10-minute long video was actually shot last year, but recently found fame when a local paper published a report about the video paired with screenshots from the film. Officials originally denied the film's authenticity, but have since changed course.
All right, so I've been to Egypt, I've been to the pyramids. They're actually, while they are incredible, absolutely incredible, astounding to look at, there's not that much going on there actually, unfortunately.
Well, there is now.
The British, now there is. But the British actually took most of the stuff, like that's all in the British museums. But this part of the world, isn't this what they need more than anything else? We were just talking about women in this part of the world, but don't they need to be okay with sex? Like, to me, that seems like the linchpin that will, if you get that out, we might start getting okay with everything else.
Yeah, they need it, but I mean, this is like a very in-your-face, like 0 to 100 type of like, be okay with this porn. That's something that you consider to be kind of special.
Yeah. So you think that's too much? I thought you were going to say that you were okay with sort of like pushing it.
Well, I mean,
a
like
bit.
I would love for them to be more open about sex and sexuality and equal rights and all of that, but I think that this is just going to push them the exact opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being like, but are you okay with this? I just picture like a lot of family photos and family albums, like having like really awkward backdrops, you know, with like different positions in the back. Like, what did you do on your vacation? Oh, nothing, you know?
Right.
No, I don't know. And what was that like awkward nip slip that she had? Like was that the flashing?
No,
Just
I
her
think it got a
nipple
little, there
awkwardly?
was full sex involved.
There was. Because I tried looking for it.
Yeah.
Just for research
Yeah, just for
purposes.
purely for
I
research
couldn't find it.
purposes.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Let me know.
Where
is it?
Yeah, if you know where the actual
Let
video
us know
is,
in the comments.
let us know in the comments right down below.
I just want to be able to talk about it with more,
Yeah,
actual
no. It's
education.
purely you're a pro and you want to research the topics appropriately, and I appreciate that. With everyone walking around, we're all walking around with cameras and phones and all this. We should expect this stuff. Like, do you think there will be any place that's really considered a holy site? Like 5 more years from now, there's going to be porn shot pretty much everywhere, right?
I mean, I think so. And I mean, why not? Fuck it, go for it. No, I think that's horrible. There's going to be like...
porn in the Vatican. I mean, they're actually
Vatican.
probably doing it, but it's not being recorded.
God, yeah,
It's probably really awful and illegal.
As open-minded and pro-body and sex as I am, like, it's still like, you gotta keep some things a little off.
Yeah.
You gotta keep some things a little protected, like family attractions,
Right.
You have some respect.
So even though the
That
pyramid...
was my one conservative...
Yeah, that was the most conservative thing I've
so...
ever... So you're saying that even though the pyramids aren't a religious thing, but you're just saying
it's
just
still
as
like a tourist
as a
attraction,
national monument kind of thing.
Yeah. Right. Like most likely there are children there.
Yeah. Do you think this is a little bit of, it feeds the idea to the people there that the West is evil? You see what they do?
Well,
they come over here.
Exactly
but they were
what I was saying
Russian.
before. Like it's like pushing in the opposite direction. It's
Right.
too much,
Yeah.
So.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I really thought you were going to be
Both
down
of
with...
us are
See,
kind of
we're
like.
so conservative.
Well,
Look
I
at
mean,
that.
there's a balance to things.
Yeah.
So
the porn people, the people that hate porn, they are secretly watching the most porn, right? Is that...
I mean, yeah, they're usually the ones secretly in the porn.
They're in the
The
porn.
kind that you can't find, though, the really taboo stuff.
What do you make of the porn people? There's a through line here with fundamentalism,
Yeah,
and they often find people that are fighting against something or the people that are doing it behind closed doors. Right?
yeah, I mean, I think people are just afraid of these types of things. Like it just scares them. They think it's horrible and evil, even though they secretly kind of like it. They feel like someone is judging them, so they have to not like it, even though they kind of do.
Yeah. Well, we're judging you people unless you comment right down below. It's not TV, it's HBO Now.
Get ready to stream Game of Thrones on all your Apple devices. Apple and HBO announced the new service called HBO Now that will not require a traditional TV subscription and will be available exclusively on Apple devices when it makes its debut in early April. The service will cost $14.99. Well worth it to see Arya Stark become more badass every week.
All right, so we've done a bunch on the show about cutting the cable. I did cut the cable for like a year, and then I'm embarrassed to say that over the last couple of months, I realized I still need cable news just to know what I'm talking about. I can't believe that. So I'm back on, which feels like a drug addict, like going back to the drug. I feel like very shame right now. But if HBO is doing this, like if HBO is officially like, we don't need you cable companies anymore, the cable companies, is it over for the cable companies?
I think it's gonna hurt. I mean, a lot of my friends that do still have cable only do it for HBO.
Yeah.
Their favorite shows are on HBO, Game of Thrones, for example, and they don't, really need any of the other channels. What a bunch of reality TV that they're not interested in.
Yeah.
At least a lot of my friends, they just want like the movie quality like shows.
Yeah.
And now they can get that without cable.
So you're off the cable.
I'm
I
off
could
the
tell.
cable.
You're off the cable. Good for you. Good for you.
I'm still on the cable.
You're on the cable.
I mean, I'm still on the cable.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't you
also
feel shame
off
when you say that though? Like you're.
No, because I love cooking shows, and I'll say it.
Yeah.
I'll say it in public. I love cooking shows, and there's no off the cable bundle package yet for those types of people. So, but I do have my Apple TV, and I love it, and I have a smart TV that links to Netflix.
Yeah.
The thing about this, though, I'm not impressed with this at all. It's $14.99. That's double the price of Netflix.
Yeah.
And they're pairing up with Apple and cutting out a huge market of other things. And I just feel like it's kind of like they've become like the mean girls of the cord cutters. They're like, you can't sit with us, like we're really cool, and you're either gonna come with us or you're gonna go there. And you're really essentially only paying $14.99 a month for Game of Thrones. It's the movies you can get on Netflix, I'm sure.
Right, so it's basically for Game of Thrones. Is there anything, that's when I was looking at this, I was like, what else is actually on HBO right now?
Yeah.
Sex and the City's not on anymore, right? That's been off for a couple years. Is that one gone?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been an HBO. To be honest, I feel more shame by saying I've never seen Game of Thrones.
You've never seen Game of Thrones?
I'm sorry.
Wow, you're gonna get a lot of hate.
I know.
God,
I'm too busy watching cooking shows.
Well, if you've seen some of the ISIS beheading videos, it's basically the same thing. But I think you make an interesting point about Apple. Do you feel like Apple is going to control absolutely everything? We did a story a couple weeks ago about how they're secretly have been building an electric car. So they're coming after Tesla soon. We're all walking around with this stuff in our. I have an iPhone, an iPad, an MacBook, everything. Like they're going to just own us.
I don't think that's a permanent thing though. The Apple, I think that's only like for 3 months, and then they're going to branch out to other things.
Yeah.
So it's just like a startup kind of thing. So I'm not too scared.
But do you fear that Apple in general is becoming sort of too powerful? They're building this like space station
I
in
like
Cupertino.
Apple products, so I wouldn't really complain if they took
I have
over the
them and I'm
world.
complaining. What's that about? Yeah. What do you think?
That's the thing. I love Apple. Like I feel like I can somehow walk through the folds of time with Apple products. Like I feel like I could design things. Like there's programs I have no idea what I'm even doing, but like if I have them on my computer, I feel like I'm at least making a start.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Final thought on this, and I think we got your answer already. What are you watching? What are you actually watching these days?
Oh my gosh, I don't really watch very much TV. I watch YouTube videos. I watch the Rubin Report too.
You watch the Rubin Report. You watch youtube.com/Jaclyn Glenn. What else do you watch?
I don't watch those. I hate that
You
channel.
don't. You hate that channel. But the music channel you like.
Yeah.
What's the music channel again?
I don't know.
Pimp yourself out, sister.
Jaclyn
Come on.
Noel music. Yeah, that's okay. Whatever. That's like a little thing on the side. I don't even talk about that.
Yeah,
but
I mean, pretty much all.
I don't watch very much TV though, in general.
I watch Downton Abbey and Walking Dead, which is probably the two most polar opposite. Like one is a period piece where it's pleasant and lovely and wonderful and English and
You're
blah,
like
blah,
a
blah.
Renaissance man.
No, and the other one's
Very
just like
well-rounded.
horrible murder and bloody gore and Anyway, what are you guys watching? Have you cut the cord? What do you make of HBO's move? Let us know in the comments right down below. Are you a believer that atheists are treated fairly?
All Karim Albana wants to do is leave Egypt. The 23-year-old engineering student is facing 3 years in prison for believing in nothing. Albana is an atheist who is facing charges for insulting Islam with his atheism. He told AFP, "All I want now is to leave Egypt. Life is not possible for atheists here." Between 2011 and 2013, 42 defendants faced with the same charges were ruled guilty.
All right, so I've done a ton of stories on atheists, and we've talked, obviously, many, many times about atheism. You are my number one atheist, so you must represent all atheists. Cara Santa Maria is going to be pissed. You're right there, 1 and 1A. I feel like atheists are under attack in a different way in the last year or so. A lot in the United States, but of course all over the world.
Right.
What is people's problems with atheists?
They take it as a personal insult if you don't agree with them on this particular subject. And that's exactly what's happening to this guy. You know, he's an atheist, and they're saying that that is an insult to Islam.
Right. But what about that whole tolerance with religion thing?
Yeah, that's supposed to be a thing, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is it's against any of the three major Abrahamic religions. It's Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Yeah.
So if you were a Christian over there, it wouldn't be an insult. But being an atheist, well, you have to believe in something. So if you don't believe in anything, that's somehow...
Oh, that's an interesting take. So, right, to be an atheist would be the equivalent of being just some other religion too. So
Right.
you should be equally mad at that,
Right.
but they aren't.
But they're not. It's almost like if you have something, it's better than nothing, because at least you're a part of a group similar to mine.
Yeah.
I mean,
What do you think? I feel like atheists are just constantly under attack. I see this in the media all the time, on Twitter all the time. People are always attacking new atheists, which I think is so weird because atheists generally pretty good people, not doing a lot. They're not having a lot of rallies, stoking up the hatred.
Right. No, but I think like similar to what she said. I think that people feel personally attacked because it's removing people's kind of last ditch effort at hope, at like this possibility that there's something else. It's like they don't want that possibility to be taken away from them, so it angers them, and they take it very personally.
Yeah, I know we did a story on this also, which we'll annotate above, but can you explain the difference between atheist, give me some basic definitions of atheist and theist and agnostic. Can you give me a little something here? Because people always, every time we do something on this, people start arguing about just actually what the words mean.
Right, and that's very frustrating for me too, because a lot of people think that being an atheist means that there is no God, absolutely 100% sure, certain.
And you have to say it like that, right?
And you have to be very angry about it always.
Yeah.
But that's not what it means at all. It just means that you don't believe in God. And it doesn't mean that you know anything, because that's what agnostic is. That's where that comes in. Because gnostic, the root of that word it means knowledge. So to be agnostic means you don't have knowledge of something. So I can say that I'm agnostic because I don't have knowledge of whether or not there's a God, but I'm also an atheist, so it's agnostic atheist.
So you're an agnostic atheist because you acknowledge you don't know, and then through that not knowing, you're saying you don't believe.
Right, and I feel like everyone should technically say that they're agnostic.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do most atheists call themselves agnostic atheists?
Yeah, most, that I talk to.
Yeah, I would hope.
Yeah. Why can't we get more tolerance out of religion? Every religion. Why is it, not just about the atheism thing, but in general, why, religion's supposed to be tolerant, and yet we see so much war and hatred and whatever, always fermented by religion.
Because since the beginning of time, we've used religion as a scapegoat for a barrage of other things, whether it be power or money or fear or things like that. It's just used as a tool. So I don't think that, I just feel like being, like I said before, saying you're an atheist removes that power to control and that power to have that tool that's been used since the beginning of time.
Yeah. Is this the weird thing about social media and Facebook and all that? Like, on one hand, it's like freeing us all, and it created the Arab Spring and like has literally taken down governments. So it's amazing what it's done in that part of the world. And then on the other hand, now we're seeing the backlash to it, which is that this guy in Egypt, an ally of ours, they get the second most aid of any country in the world from the United States, is being persecuted for atheism. So it's a double-edged sword with social media too, right?
Yeah, it can be, and it's unfortunate that in his situation, he's in a country that's not accepting of that. But overall, I feel like it's important to have social media because we can, make positive change through it.
Yeah. Do atheists need to be more outraged? Like, you're being very calm right now. This is one of your
I'm used
people,
to seeing,
right? Like, being attacked.
This is not uncommon.
Yeah.
I hear stuff like this all of the time.
Yeah.
So, as much as it does make me mad and angry, it's just like one more thing, telling me and everyone else that is an atheist that you're not okay, that you're not normal, that you're somehow insulting other people.
So you're almost like over the outrage. That's what I sense.
I've calmed down a lot. Whenever I first started doing videos on YouTube, I was like, grr, very angry and cussing. But now I'm a little bit more like, okay, I've been talking about this for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
What's new?
Yeah, Whitney, I feel like we need to play a game like how to piss off an atheist.
I know, let's do it now.
Should we like nudger or like something?
This is we're sandwiching you with our belief system. No, the thing is that it's an impossible battle to win because there's just no proof in any direction. So it's just, we can sit here and it's maddening, we can just like lose our minds over it. So there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah. Is there nothing you can do? I know one thing you can do. You can comment right down below. Danica Patrick is going to have some new competition.
Uber announced on Tuesday that it is creating 1 million jobs for women by 2020. According to Mashable, the initiative is the result of a partnership with UN Women, a United Nations organization committed to global gender equality, a mission that can only be accomplished when all women have direct access to safe and equitable earning opportunities.
All right, more women Uber drivers. That seems good to me. I personally don't care whether my Uber driver is a man or a woman or something in between or from another planet. Doesn't really matter as long as they get me to where I'm going. But I do think it's sort of interesting. As women, do you guys feel when you hop in an Uber, do you feel safer if it's a woman driver?
I mean, most of my Uber drivers have been women. Actually.
Really?
Yeah, so that's kind of like, I've been listening to this story and I was like, is that not already happening? But
that's interesting.
Yeah,
I think maybe LA, our sense of what's going on with Uber and the bigger thing is a little skewed.
I do feel like every time I get in the car and it's a woman, I'm like a little bit relieved. Just because I've had some creepy experiences with dudes and it's just like, I like to not have to worry about that.
Yeah, what about you?
I honestly don't think about it either way. For some reason, I swear, living in New York and taking endless amounts of taxi cabs has built up this false sense of I will never get in an accident in this car. It doesn't matter how bad they're driving. I'm not going to wear my seatbelt, even though I wear it in every other car.
Right.
I don't know why that is.
That's interesting, though. So you took it to a place of like some idea of like maybe women are worse drivers, but I think most people fear it more that if a woman gets in the car that the man is like a pervert or
oh yeah, I'm not really too worried about that.
You're definitely not worried about that?
I'm not really, no.
Yeah, so you meant it more for like, is this guy like a weirdo, not necessarily that guys might be better drivers than women.
Yeah, the driving is, hopefully they all can drive. Since they're Uber drivers.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've just had some kind of creepy guys. If I'm like with a group of friends, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if I'm going somewhere on my own, I'd rather it be a girl driver. But I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
to your point about the taxi drivers, like sometimes I get in an Uber and it's so pleasant and it smells nice. And I was in one last night and the guy had all these lollipops and they have candy and water and all this stuff and chocolate. And then every now and again I'll think, boy, I do miss like a old-fashioned New York City, dirty, gross, smelly body sweat, like
you miss having to lay a plastic bag over potentially dry vomit.
That's what I was saying, like puke over there, like some other bodily fluid. I don't know, like there's something like about it that I kind of miss. Is that totally warped?
That sounds very weird to me.
That's really weird. Like you like the lollipops.
I like lollipops.
There's something about Uber that it's like stepping into a magical fairyland. I'm like, what do you have? You have chocolate and candy? I don't normally even eat this stuff, but I will in this car. It's fantastic.
That's what I said to the guy about the lollipops. I'm like, when's the last time you had a lollipop?
Like yesterday.
You had a lollipop yesterday?
I have a sweet tooth.
Were you in the Uber that I was in?
It was not I was not.
Like the last time I literally had candy, like a candy bar, was in an Uber. Because he had a whole barrel of, like an actual barrel of candy. I'm like, wow, I wanted to like throw it on myself.
But then you gave him 5 stars, didn't you? Or whatever the max star thing is.
You have to really be horrible for me to give you less than 5 stars.
Yeah. You know, I got an Uber pick me up once, and the guy said to me that he almost didn't pick me up because I didn't have, as a user, I didn't have like the max stars.
What?
And I was like, what did I do? I don't know what because usually I'm pretty quiet, like I don't talk that much and I'm doing my
But are you
annoying
outside waiting?
I try to be.
Nobody got time for that.
I try to be. Final thought on this. What do you think for the people that, I know that some people are going to watch this and say, well, men are just better drivers. That's just how it is. Men are better drivers. Women are nervous behind the wheel. Say something to those people.
I mean, I'm a good driver. Hey, I don't know. I mean, that's a silly stereotype.
That's it.
I mean,
Well, I mean, the fact is, women's insurance rates are lower for a reason, you know. But also, I would like to just throw in the fact that this is an incredibly smart move for Uber because they're aiming. Number one, they're partnering with the UN. Like, they're taking rideshare and then taking over the world. I'm so confused, but you know, they're aiming to have 1 million female drivers in the next, couple years, whatever. And they're saying that currently it's 14% of their drivers are women. So that means they're basically aiming to have 8 million plus drivers total in a couple years. They're just going to take over the roads. I mean, this is a really smart approach to take, I think.
Normally we don't do math on the show, but
I just did all that math in my head right now.
That was a lot of math.
Live.
Anyway, do you like lollipops? Let us know in the comments right down below. They say elephants have great memories, but they can soon forget about being in circuses.
The 13 elephants that are now part of the Ringling Brothers shows will be sent to the circus's Center for Elephant Conservation in Florida, joining over 40 others. Kenneth Field, chairman and CEO of Field Entertainment, said, "When we did so, we knew we would play a critical role in saving the endangered Asian elephant for future generations."
I literally remember being like 5 or 6 years old, going to the Ringling Brothers Circus. I think it was at Madison Square Garden at the time in New York City, and seeing the elephants, and I thought it was like the coolest freaking thing that these giant animals were in the same room as us. That said, this is probably a good thing, right? We've all heard these insane stories about how they treat these animals, and elephants are incredibly smart and sensitive, and probably should not be in these circuses, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, they have horrible methods of getting them to do tricks. They like poke them with hard metal objects and stuff, and that's sad. I mean, but this is only elephants. They've got other animals too. They've got like tigers and lions, and what about them?
And bears, oh my.
Lions and tigers and bears. No, I mean, it's the kind of first thought I had. I was like, what about all the other animals? But I mean, it's a good start.
Yeah. So let's start with that point then. Like, does this ultimately lead to them getting rid of all the animals, and then do you lose something about what's so fun about the circus?
I mean, yeah, you lose the element of cruelty. I am adamant. I've been against the circus. I've actually been the protester outside the circus for years now. I think it's horrible. It's atrocious what they do to these animals.
So you're talking about for all animals, not just for the elephants.
And the fact that elephants are finally being phased out is amazing, but you're 100% right. There's still, tigers, lions, I think they have even other animals, and they had like snow tigers and things like that. Those are also endangered animals. Yeah. So I'm glad the elephants are being phased out, but at the same token, these other animals are not being affected any less by this, and also I don't like that they're being phased out. Just eliminate them. It's been past the time.
Right. I mean, this reminds me of the New York City carriage horse situation where they've been trying to phase them out, and now it sounds like de Blasio is going to make it happen. But it's like, if you really want to end it, just end it. And those horses, as bad as the elephants are treated, to me, those horses in the middle of those cars, they can't see anything. And they get hit by cars and all that. Do you guys find it easier to sympathize with animals than humans sometimes? Like, I definitely get that feeling. Like, if I see a stray dog, like, in the street, I feel terrible. I want to do something. And yet, all the time in LA, you see homeless people, you see crazy people and drug addicts. And it's almost like I don't feel that much. I know that sounds sick, but it's true.
Well, I mean, animals have an innocence about them, that people maybe have done something bad to put them in a bad situation, but you don't always know that. Like, I feel bad for anything that's like victimized in any way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Do you feel it with animals? I don't know what it is. Yeah. You rescue dogs, and you have like 87 cats and like 14 lizards and an armadillo.
Exactly.
That's your armadillo.
My armadillo. Yeah. Oh God, rest in peace. Yeah. No, there's something that's always really pulled at my heartstrings with animals. Yeah, like you said, it's this innocence. They're unspoken for. And I just really identify with them. I don't know. I just want to protect them. And yeah, with humans, you don't know their story. I mean, if I see a child on the street or an elder, then obviously it has a similar reaction. But if you're an able-bodied human, I have just less natural empathy towards you for that.
Right. So I think most of us feel that, even though the person could have mental problems that we don't know about. But right, if you see like a 30-something-year-old guy, there are people that stand in the middle of La Cienega like, trying to get to California, even though they're in California. And you don't feel much sympathy for them because you sort of feel like it's their fault, where I know it's not always their fault, of course, but animals, they can't, if you just throw a dog out
and
there.
I've never seen, maybe if you threw a Sarah McLachlan sign behind, a song behind, a montage of people, I would feel the same. But there's something about those eyes and just really...
Wait, where do you send people to adopt dogs and stuff? Don't you?
Where do I send people?
Yeah,
well, I mean, there's a couple. Do you want me to plug some agencies now?
Come on. If you want to adopt an elephant, where do you go?
Oh my God! Now I'm totally blanking because there's so many agencies.
You want me to do one?
Yes.
All right, go to where I got my dog, at least in New York, the Humane Society of New York. It's not part of the bigger Humane Society, but the Humane Society itself is pretty good. How do you guys feel about zoos in general? Because I went to the San Diego Zoo about a year ago, and I got a really super private tour, and I was in there with the elephants, and literally under them, and washing their bellies and doing all this cool stuff, and feeding giraffes and everything. But I did leave, even though it was awesome, it was really awesome, and seeing these animals and all that, I did leave kind of feeling sad for them, especially the lions and tigers, where they were just sitting there fuck it, another day of this shit. You know, like how do you generally, even though I know they're doing a ton of good stuff at the zoo and they're rehabilitating animals and, you know, endangered species and all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I always feel bad to see an animal in a cage, no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard because, like, you know, people use the argument, well, they're being taken care of. They're giving all this special treatment. And I hear the same thing from my family that is very much into horse racing. You know, they're like, well, the horses have this better life. They're being taken care of. And I'm like, yeah, but then they break their leg and they're euthanized right away.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like the higher quality of being cared for and stuff, in my opinion, isn't as valuable as just letting them be, you know, themselves in the wild.
Right, and it's a
how
total
supposed to be.
catch-22, of course, because, you know, the endangered lion that's being
Right.
treated well loses its desire to live in some ways and is bored, yet at the same time isn't under the threat of being poached or something. So
I mean, you could say, like, if you go visit a prison, they're being taken care of and protecting, you know, they're being protected from society, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same thing in zoos. Unless it's a wildlife protection, you know, refuge or something like that, I think zoos, for the most part, are something that should also be eliminated, as well as you know, like places like SeaWorld, absolutely. I mean, you are actually seeing physical responses to captivity with, you know, their fins going down, with elephants pacing back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally going mad.
and then they wonder why every now and again one of these animals
an
does
attack.
something to
And then
the,
when
to the
they
prey.
do, they get euthanized.
Yes.
All right, so more importantly than any of this, when will they free the clowns?
Yes. God, they're just going to open a little car and like all the clowns are going to go running away for their lives.
You want the clowns to be freed, or
Free
you're
the
okay?
clowns, yeah,
free the
free the
clowns,
clowns,
people. All right, should we free the clowns? Let us know in the comments right down below. Gee whiz, this is a wild story we're streaming.
In the quest for renewable energy, some ideas are wackier than others, but this one may take the cake. This pee-powered toilet converts urine into electricity and might just be crazy enough to work. The hope is that the power will be used to light toilets in refugee camps where women are at heightened risk of sexual assault during the night. The toilets use microbial fuel cell that converts microbes into fuel, thus lighting the cabin as one relieves themselves.
Science is pretty awesome, right? Like, isn't
pretty
this
awesome.
the kind of thing you're like, wow, science, man.
It works.
It actually works. It's tested and it works.
I've never really thought of doing something like this, but if they can make pee, you know, turn into electricity, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Really? You've never thought of turning pee into...
I've never, you know,
just
of all
thinking
the
about it.
things that I think about, that never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can turn pee into electricity. We did a story a couple weeks ago about a bus in the UK being powered by poop.
Wow.
Yeah, so-
I need to go back and check on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're just batteries. We're just pee poop batteries.
I love
It's
that.
the Matrix.
Yeah.
I love that. I am a little bit concerned about this situation, though, like lighting, you know, the refugee camps and things like that, the bathrooms, because I feel like, is it going to have a backlash where it's just kind of like lighting up the area where the women are going? You know what I'm saying?
Not sure what you're saying.
No, but I'm saying, like, okay, so these women, this is used to protect the women.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But these people, the men, don't seem to really care in general. Like,
Oh.
they kind of don't care if they're assaulted. Like, it's not like a hidden thing. Like,
Right.
this is happening a lot. So what I'm saying is, if it's a lit up area, don't you feel like they'll be like, oh, look at all the women going to the bathroom late night?
Right. Look at all those
Let's go
peeing
there.
women. Those are
Yeah, I mean, it's
those are our
supposed to
targets.
protect them.
Does it only
It's
light
supposed
up
to-
when they're going to pee too? Like, or is it just like,
Oh, that's
how does
interesting.
that
Do you-
work? Like,
oh, no,
it's
well,
just
I-
like, I found the toilet and I pay. Okay, wow, there's a light.
So you think it's possible that the electricity is only working while the pee is actually?
I mean,
I think
hey.
they somehow store the pee and then that it gives you a
But
little.
and the thing is also if the men don't know the women are going to the bathroom and then they go to the bathroom and then it lights up, is that just like a giant advertisement? Like, I'm here.
Well, that's what
Right,
I'm
I think
saying.
that's
now,
That's what
not
I'm saying.
only to watch them, but like to like, oh, now I can go find my. You know,
That's
it's like,
exactly what I was saying. I think
like
that
scary.
it's
It's
that's
scarier
what,
to me.
that's
Like, I
what
wouldn't want
my
that.
concern
Yeah.
is.
Do you think it's kind of interesting that they're starting to do this in places like this? I feel like this is the type of thing, if they said to people in San Francisco or to people in LA, like, you can power your house with your pee and poop, I think a lot of people would do it. The pee and
Why
poop
wouldn't
powered
you?
house.
Pee and poop.
What?
powered
I mean,
house,
why
that's
not?
It saves some money, right?
Yeah,
and like
it's
people
good for the
love all this. It's
environment.
good for the environment.
Yeah, hey.
Would you do it? You would do it. You would totally do
Yeah,
it.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
You just don't know
Yeah,
it.
you're powering
I'm powering all of this.
our
You're
cameras today
welcome.
powered by Whitney MIxter.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty
You're
good.
welcome. I mean, think about it. It's limitless, really. Like you could have bars like fully powered by all the people that were using their bathrooms from all the heavy drinking. Their entire electric grid could be powered by those people.
So this is kind of the future, right? This reminds me of like there's a couple gyms that like are actually some of the electricity is actually powered by the people that are on the treadmills. This is like the future of technology, right?
I mean, I think it's a pretty awesome invention. Like, why not? It's something that would just be wasted.
Yeah.
And now it's being used to create something that would have used resources.
Yeah.
You know?
Why do you guys think we're so fearful of bodily functions? Like everyone loves fart jokes. We did the poop bus story and made a zillion puns. Like, but this is natural stuff. Why does that still like? Is it just like our 4-year-old self is still acting out?
Oh yeah, I think it's totally that like tee. Although I totally embrace fart jokes and bodily function wholeheartedly. Like,
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
Wholeheartedly.
wholeheartedly. Boom! Nailed it. Good job.
You brought us home with a bang. What do you guys think? Pee for electricity, poop-powered buses. Is the future going to be crappy? Let us know in the comments right down below. Wah, wah. If you thought Rick and Daryl had issues with The Walking Dead, take a look at this.
For most of us, when our loved ones die, they are laid to rest for eternity. Not so for one community in Indonesia. In a ceremony called the cleaning of the corpses, families raise their deceased relatives from their graves, dress them in new clothes, fix their hair, and repair their coffins. Then they walk the dead around the province so they can observe the living.
Okay, so as Westerners, that actually seems kind of hard to believe. But after I read the story and I was thinking about it a little bit more, we have pretty bonkers practices related to death too, right? Like my grandma, one of them got cremated. I mean, they literally just burned her body to ash. The other one was buried traditionally, but like I saw her in a coffin and dressed up. Like, we do these weird things, so really is this practice any weirder? I know viscerally there's something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it away.
It's a pretty weird every year to dig them up and dress them up and walk them around, and like that's a little bit different than observing in a coffin or you know, some like final respect that you pay to someone. This is like an ongoing like dig them up and carry them around, and this just
right. The walking around seemed to me to be the, like I guess, like I'm trying to be open-minded about this, like they have their traditions, that's great. So dressing them up, that's one thing, but they're like parading them around, like there seems to be like there would be health issues or something, right?
Yeah, I would think, well also I just don't understand how it's physically possible in some senses, like the malleability factor I feel like would start going down at a pretty rapid pace. You know, like how are limbs cracking off? Do they just attach them back on?
Right, it must be much more fun to play with like a newer dead person than someone that's been dead for like 50 years.
And how long do you continue doing it? Like, do you just eventually just kind of carry like a bushel of their bones around town? With like a hat on top, perhaps? That's really creepy. Right. I mean, I don't know at what point they stop, but I just don't understand also how they actually get the clothes on without them crumbling to pieces. When I first pulled up the article, I have to admit, I actually thought that woman, I was like, whoa, she looks horrible. Before I realized,
like a little makeup lady.
I was like, good God, how's that woman alive?
Yeah.
It turns out she wasn't at all.
Yeah, so good for her, actually.
So good for her for making one last hoorah around town.
Yeah, what do you guys think about like the general fascination with zombies? I feel like zombies are in like a little renaissance right now. Walking Dead, there's like 5 other shows. I always loved zombies from when I was a kid, and they want to eat our brains. You like your brain. What's going on with zombies?
I mean, I think it's interesting. It's, you know, like a fantasy type of thing, vampires and zombies, and, you know, people like to believe in or, you know, be entertained by these things, but like, it's not literal.
It's not literal, but now we have, this is The Walking Dead.
Right, yeah. This,
so it's a little literal.
A little far.
Little far?
Yeah.
Do you think it's more about like the zombies themselves, or it's just like, the fascination is more about just like this apocalyptic thing?
I think
we're obsessed with the end of the world.
Yeah, I think the apocalyptic thing, but I also think like these supernatural or whatever you want to call it creatures kind of make waves in terms of popularity. Like vampires had their huge day.
Yeah.
Werewolves had their little blip of a thing. They didn't succeed as much, and zombies are now really taking over.
So, I don't know. Right. So we had like True Blood gave us. We had that
and
vampire
Twilight.
thing. Twilight, then we had a little, you're right, a little werewolf
Yeah, a
thing.
little werewolf
Now we're on the
thing.
zombies. What's next?
I don't know, like some No, I don't. What else is
Frankenstein,
there?
I guess it could be aliens again,
Aliens,
maybe.
yeah, aliens.
Or maybe
'Cause
just
aliens
like-
were huge. Aliens started off with like X-Files. I think aliens need to make a comeback. Yeah.
Right, or it could be just be like clones of Will Smith's kids.
Oh,
That would be a horrible.
that would be a really
That would be
creative,
really troubling.
situation.
If they brought you guys back after you were dead, how would you want to be dressed? Would you be dressed like yourself now, or would you want to just really go over the top?
I think I'll just be cremated to make sure that can never happen.
I
Do you
think-
want to be cremated?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be cremated.
Well, they have these actually really cool things where you can be cremated and then put into like a pot.
Yes.
And then like a tree will grow.
Did we do
Yes.
this? Did I
That
do this
sounds-
story with you?
No,
Yeah.
I've seen that everywhere. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll be a tree.
So there literally is something, they're doing it, I think it started in Portland, I can't remember what it's called offhand, but they literally will take your remains, put it into a garden, and
like
then
that.
like your family can eat like mint.
Oh,
okay, I don't think I would do that.
Is that weird? Like they can have a mojito and be like, yeah, that was
They're
Dave.
like, cheers to Whitney.
Yeah.
Like, you
I would
know.
just be like a non-edible tree.
Yeah. All right, last thought on this. Is there something about this story that's actually kind of beautiful? Like I know it seems kind of silly, we can joke about it, but like just how different humans are all over the place and that we all have our different traditions or whatever works for
Yeah.
us. There's something kind of beautiful about this actually.
I mean, I think there is. You know, they're celebrating life, whereas I feel like in this culture we tend to, you know, mourn it, which is natural. You know, mourning loss. But I think, you know, we put a lot of sadness behind it, and they're putting celebration, and we do weird shit with it. We fill them up with formaldehyde. We make them look like living dolls. I mean, it's very weird. At least they're, you know, taking them in their naturally decrepit remains and celebrating it.
Do you feel that there's something like just interesting about how there are tons of us on this planet and we all kind of deal with it differently?
Yeah, that's whatever makes them happy.
Whatever makes you dead people happy. Anyway, what do you think? Is this creepy? Is it cool? Let us know in the comments right down below. And thanks for watching. I'm now going to let you two pimp yourselves out. Talk to the camera right over there. Whitney, you go.
All right. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Whitney MIxter LA.
I am everything is the same. Jaclyn Glenn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So find me.
Yeah. And this is the Rubin Report. I'll even talk over here. This is the Rubin Report. You can follow me on Twitter at Rubin Report. Oh, and by the way, if you dig my cool red chair, a lot of people have been commenting on it. It's from apartment2b.com. That's APT2, the number B.com. And if you use code Rubin Report, you can get 10% off anything on the site. Holy cow. Anyway, thanks guys for doing this, and we will be back next week.